morning, folks. Andy Malang from Ultratech Tool. Happy Friday. Hope you're doing well. We're back here for episode 2 of our podcast, which is going to be focusing on moving existing tooling. I'm going to talk to you today how you can move your existing tools to new, more high-performing sources with pretty much no cost involved. In fact, it's probably going to be a cost savings at the end of the day when you look at the total experience. So really what I want to dive into here is that a lot of times customers will have the dilemma of they have a low performing supplier, they're having an issue with delivery, quality, maybe a whole host or a combination of different issues that are really affecting their supply chain and ultimately the customer's ability to serve their customer. And a lot of times this can feel hopeless when it comes to existing tooling because it's been in one place for so long. People don't necessarily know what exactly consists of the tooling, what condition it is in, who paid for it. But let me tell you right now, if you're a customer out there and you're looking to move existing tooling and you paid for the tooling, you have every right to move that tool. And we see this a lot here at Ultratech is that we're able to bring in a lot of tools that our customers they've owned. They don't have a lot of details on what that tooling is and what it's like, but they have to get it out of there for one reason or another. Sometimes it's the supplier exiting, the business in general. Sometimes it's not necessarily a service issue. It's just, hey, this is the economic situation right now, and this is what we're faced with, and we're not going to be able to produce this part anymore. So a lot of different variables go into this, but I'll tell you right now, if you're having any issue in your supply chain, please contact us at Ultratech. We are experts in this. The fact that we build our dies in-house, I have tool makers down right now building tooling on the floor. Some of that is new, some of that is repair or engineering changes. It really runs into a lot of different areas. Being that we have this expertise, it is very easy for us to press adapt existing tools. A lot of people think, oh, geez, I got to go to a new source. I need to buy new tooling. Maybe new tooling is going to run $50,000, $100,000, depending on what the size of the part is, what the complexity is. That's not always the case, and it's definitely not the case with us. In fact, customers that have come to us have actually saved money. Even when it comes to press adaptation and refurbishment, at the end of the day, they have saved money because the total experience has been so greatly improved with us as a high-performance stamper that, maybe they spend a little bit of money up front to get, the tool press adapted, but that's a lot more efficient than building new tooling. It's a lot more lead time friendly. And then a lot of times we can take tooling that maybe is running in a larger press, not running as fast. We can press adapt it into something that is a smaller press, is going to run faster, increase throughput. It's really a win-win across the board. The customer is getting better piece part price, better delivery, because their delivery right now is about 98.24% for May. So those are full, real, transparent numbers. Those aren't pie in the sky. Those are actual, real numbers that we announce to our supply chain and say, hey, this is where we're at. We don't hide or, disguise that information. It's fully transparent. And the quality, quality is obviously number one when it comes to anything that you're supplying a customer. And being able to really refurb existing old tools or just simply press adapt is really critical in that, because sometimes you get old tools that you inherit and they've just been worn down and they need just some TLC, tender love and care to get back up into shape, and sometimes that alone affects the part quality greatly. That's what we're experts at. Okay, let us allow ourselves to give you a better overall experience, an experience that's really going to cost you less in the long run by being able to take existing tooling from a struggling source, bring it in here, press adapt it, and get it into mass production. We have done this in as little as 72 hours in some situations for some parts. We've brought in a tool, we were able to press adapt it, we were able to refurb it, clean it up a little bit, we were able to get a PPAP run going in 72 hours. Unheard of in the industry. Don't know anyone else that does that. So again, because we build our dies in-house, we're able to be very reactive to time-sensitive situations. Again, don't feel hopeless that you can't get your tooling out of there and very quickly get it to somewhere else that can have parts up and running and keep your supply chain going. There's a lot of complexities when it comes to tooling, and I think the biggest thing for that I would allow as advice is always document what your tooling information is up front at the design, build, review stage. At least get the documentation, get pictures of it, get the key information, the shut height, the pass line, the size left to right, front to back, what the approximate tonnage is. All those sorts of things are really key for your own documentation, and of course assuming ownership. That said, what do you do if you don't own the tool and you can't move it out of there? Don't worry, we have a solution for that as well. A lot of times customers will come to us and say, hey, I need tooling built, we're having a really big supplier issue. No problem if you're sensitive to tooling cost. We have looked at tooling a lot of different ways here, is that we will make the tooling commensurate with the volume. So if you have a low volume component, we can take a totally different strategy to address that part than we would a very high volume part. And a lot of matters on the tool design as well. If you have just a simpler design and it's not very complex, the tooling is very minimal, and it doesn't always have to be $40,000 in tooling if it's a very complex part, or $30,000 or whatever it would be. Sometimes, because we build our tooling in house and we want to grow the long-term relationship, getting new tooling built might only be $6,500, might be $2,600. Because we value the relationship. We know that you're coming to us not just to say, hey, we want a new tool built. You're coming to us and saying, hey, we need help, we need tooling, we need someone to supply this part. Bringing a turnkey solution to the table is what's absolutely critical. So we have solutions, whether you own the tooling and you can pull it out and move it somewhere else, and you just need it press adapted or maybe cleaned up. And we got solutions for customers that say, hey, I don't own the tool, I need something new, I have this kind of volume, what can you do for me? We'll come up with a custom tailored solution for that. We don't go to outside tool shops and say, hey, can you quote making this part, and it's 1 million parts a year, and oh, by the way, the customer is really sensitive to tool costs, so lowball it. We don't have to do anything like that, and it just takes a lot of time in the process. I mean, we've cut all of that out. We will quote it to what we need to build in here in-house. If you want to maintain ownership, we can certainly discuss that. But ultimately, we're giving customers robust solutions. So when I always mention robustness, that's not just in the quality aspect. That's really throughout the entire organization, whether it's tool building, stamping, you need parts that have welded assemblies or fasteners or things like that on it. Everything's got to have a robust characteristic to it. That's where you bring the most value to customers, and that's where we see it as well. So that said, I'm not going to take a whole lot of time on this podcast. I just want to let people know that if you're out there and you have tooling that you want to get moved, by all means, reach out to us. We probably have about 35-40% of our tools here came from another source originally that we're able to bring in here and just give the customer a better overall experience. So if that is you, please direct message me. Let's connect. Let's discuss your unique situation and project, and let's get you back into a good situation in your supply chain. Ultimately, we're not looking for the short term. We want to help in the short term, but we're ultimately looking to grow a long-term partnership. And we know refurbishment, press adaptation, and new tool builds for tooling sensitive customers when it comes to budgets are very critical and are important tools in the toolkit. So please reach out to us. We will come up with a solution to help you. And again, I always say, if we can't help you or we can't find a solution, I will get you pointed in the right direction. So feel free to use me as a resource. So that said, I hope everyone has a great Friday here and a good weekend. We'll have some more content going up here on YouTube soon and on LinkedIn. And I appreciate everyone following us and giving us likes. Please hit the subscribe button here on YouTube, and we will talk to you soon. Have a good weekend. Thanks.